Well, hiya, Kathryn. How are you doing again?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah. Well, as everybody knows, we've been doing these little interviews. We're calling them Meet the Speaker interviews. It's kind of a lead up to the Mysterious Earth Conference, which is on the 7th and 8th of September in St Anne's-on-Sea. And you're a speaker again this year, aren't you? You're talking about an amazing subject, which I absolutely love, and that's the Book of Enoch and the Dead Sea Scrolls.
That's
So I'm
right.
really looking forward to that.
Mm,
But we can talk about that in a minute. But
yep.
your main job is, well, I suppose it's twofold. You're an artist and an astrologer, really, aren't you?
Yes, that's right. The two are combined really because a lot of the people that have their charts read, they just love them so much that I end up producing artwork which is of their charts because it's a
Yeah,
real, it is like a portrait, an energetic portrait, and it changes their perception of themselves for the better. And so yeah, I just really like doing it as well because I learn a lot as well by investigating right down to the finer
yeah.
points of the chart.
Well, what people don't know is that we're doing it the other way around because you've looked at some of my details, but you haven't given me the reading yet. But you've made me a clock, haven't you?
I did, yeah. That was a really, a really great day. That wasn't it? It was really
Yeah.
cool.
So we went up to an old abandoned stone mine, wasn't it? Uh,
Yes,
in East Lancashire, up on the heights there, and I
yeah.
picked my own stone.
You did, yeah. It was an amazing day. I mean, it was really cold
It was
because,
freezing. It was snowing, wasn't it? And icy. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we had to pick a date to go, and that was the date. So yeah, it had been snowing, which is not the best when you're looking at an open
No.
a quarry, a stone quarry,
Yeah. With like
and stones.
deep shafts down, and you were reaching over. I was thinking, oh no, don't do it. Well, it's going to disappear any moment. But luckily, we got what we needed, and you made a beautiful clock, and
Yeah,
it's in the shape of the stones in the rock in the ring of Brodgar, aren't we? So we've called it the clock of Brodgar, haven't we?
yes, yeah. It was a grand day out, yeah. So when we go looking, go looking for stones, I just have it upon me that I just want to do that, and it's the only thing I want to do. So yeah, get some decent shoes on and just go walking, and to special places, and pick up stones.
Yeah, and it was so great to have something there on my mantelpiece. Mantelpiece, that's an old saying, isn't it? Above my fire there, and it's a stone that I chose that's been made specially for me. It was wonderful. So I do recommend. So we'll show you. I'll put a picture up of it, and if anybody wants one, I'm sure you can find time to squeeze into your schedule to
Yeah,
make one.
yeah, and also for the conference as well, I've got some sculptures that I've made. I mean, one of them is going to be really quite sizable. This stone, and it's just the most beautiful, elegant stone. Um, so yeah,
I look forward to it. So you'll have quite a few of those on you. We'll have well all this sort of thing on your stall at the conference, won't you?
yeah,
So that's clocks. And the other thing, of course, is astrology. Now, you call yourself Monk's Astrology, don't you? That's your website.
yes,
And you've taken some details off me. Because one thing you did when you've been on the tours you've done for people is this you call pub astrology, where you can just take people's details and get it up on the computer and just read it straight away, which I think is fantastic. It's really good. People love it. Everybody's go, can I be next? Can I be
yeah. It's just fascinating when you pull up the chart to see where all the planets are. I mean, there's quite a strong astrological community in the Northwest. Um, we've got a conference next year, and we've already got our speaker booked, and it just all fell into place. So So that's great. Yeah. So the Northwest, there's Anne Shipley, who's in Manchester, us, who's in Bolton area, and then Kevin,
Of course,
who's in
Kevin, who was the last
Devon.
person to do
Yeah,
the talk, to do this conversation, this exactly the same thing,
yeah.
coincidentally. Which astrology group are you in? Is it Blackburn or
It's
Bolton?
Bolton
Bolton.
Astrological Society, and it was set up around 1980. And I think it was going before then, but officially, the chart that we have is for 1980. And
It's been going
I've
some
been
time.
yeah, I've been studying it for about at least about 10 years. And I mean, the reason why I do it is because it's so interesting, and I've learned many things from it, you know, like goddesses and gods, because certain celestial objects are named after gods and goddesses. So I found them through the stars.
So it's that power, that energy bundle, which you call
Mm,
like a deity, or it's like a power, isn't it?
yeah,
And so, yeah, by the way, it's Kevin Rowan Drewitt we're talking about, because people might not know who Kevin is. And he runs the one in Blackpool, doesn't he? The Northern Lights
yeah,
Astrology.
yeah.
I'm anxious to know what you've come up with.
Oh, okay then.
This is my chart, and Kathryn's been looking at it. So talk about
Yeah,
leaving your soul bare to the world. Well, let's go for it.
let's go for it.
Very complicated looking, but okay.
Yeah, well, can you see my mouse moving there?
Yes, can yeah.
Yeah. So just to break it down, all these planets in green around the outside are where they are now today.
Okay.
Okay. And the ones on the inside are where they were at the time that you were born. And then this one round here is the wheel of the zodiac as it goes around the earth. And these bits in the middle are how the planets sing with each other.
Okay.
So it's kind of you kind of have to learn this subject. It's not easy, but once you get to a certain point, then it all becomes quite clear.
I remember
So
Kevin
yeah,
telling me that that black line that goes across the middle, that's the supposed to be the horizon when you're born.
that's right. So because you were born in the early hours of the morning, the sun here in Leo, because you're a Leo, is underneath the horizon, and then
Mm.
at the other side, the moon here is just above the horizon.
Where's your moon?
There's your
So
moon
you,
there.
I've
Moon in
got it. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Capricorn. Moon in
Yeah, yeah, I see it.
Capricorn, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So your moon was kind of very not well, quite low on the horizon. So when you see like a moon that's quite low on the horizon, then that should remind you of the moon that was about when you were born.
Oh, right, okay.
So those are kind of the mechanics, yeah. So you're a Leo, and you've got the things that are interesting to me, because I love the part of fortune, and in my chart it's really strong, and in yours it's quite strong as well, and that's here. You see it
Right.
here. Okay, and that's where your fortune lies. So you can either make good with it or do nothing with it. My part of fortune is on my sun, which is my identity. And when I realised that, I realised that in this lifetime, if I'm gonna do anything with my life at all, then I have to like stop being shy and retrospective, and have to get out there and do stuff. And that's the way that my best life will be lived.
Mm.
Your part of fortune is here in the eighth house, and it's with Saturn. So I think we had this conversation in, over a Bakewell tart in
Yeah,
Bakewell.
it's very well taught. She wrote it up a lot. So that was Saturn, yeah, because Saturn is at the great restrictor. So my
Well,
fortune's been restricted.
no, I wouldn't say that, it is because this is the north node. That's where you're headed, and the south node is over here, and the south node is with it. On this computer program, it doesn't show it, but this is a free one, and everyone can access this particular software. So yours is coming from a past life, and in a past
Right.
life, this was past life you were sort of it could have been that you were either restricted in a past life, or it was you might have had authority in a past life, and it's in the eighth house, so it's the house of secrets, and it's yeah, so you could have been an authority in an area which was not widely known to others,
Ah.
and you've brought this forward into this life. So it's like, you know, it should resonate with you in a way that in a past life you had, secret authority.
Well, that would tie in very well with sort of mystery school
Yeah,
activity that I got involved with. It's more or less the same thing, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So
Fascinating.
yeah, and this bit here as well. I mean, Pisces is a very spiritual sign, and so you will do well. Jupiter's there; it's expansive with that. So you kind of right where you should be. I think that Chiron there has brought with it some, kind of it might be as much of a pain as it is a success as well, because of everything that you have to do with it. And then yeah, and Leo being down here is
Where's
full of
Leo again? Just
Leo.
give
The
it a
sun
wiggle because it's only small.
sun here,
Oh, right, got you there, yeah. Oh, the sun, right, yeah.
that's
Got
your
you, yeah,
sun.
yeah. Oh, of course, that's Leo, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's in communication. And then you got your moon over here, which is in relationships, and but it's sort of quite emotionally serious. Yeah,
Right.
so you have to be careful when you do astrology, especially
Yeah.
pub astrology, because I'll just put that down now, because you kind of stop share stop share because you sort of stray into areas of people's innermost private life, and they think they're just going to have a laugh. And then suddenly it takes a turn. There's a fork in the road in the conversation.
See,
Uh,
so you say I'm married to the wrong person then. Well, I'm lucky I'm single, so it don't matter to me really. So
okay, we'll get it out there. Let people know.
yeah, yeah. Single but serious. Wow. So overall, what were the other bunchy ones at the bottom there? They were all seemed to be. There was like four all in one place. There was the sun,
Yeah,
and then there was three more.
yeah. That was all. That's a house of communication. So yeah, it's a communicative thing. So you making lots of videos, and it's quite an artistic thing, is making videos, and like the decision of where to put the music, and which bits to edit out, which bits to leave in. So that's all your skill sets there
But it's
into.
like the conference as well. That's obviously information, sharing information, isn't it? That's the all about communication
Yeah, and bringing people
and
together as well,
the tours.
and the tours. Yes.
So I'm doing what my chart says.
Yeah, you do. You're living out your charts. Also, that's the that Pisces bit as well, which is the subject area of which you've chosen. Because I think especially it helped being a Leo, you've done what you've wanted to. So you've not put yourself in a box of having to work in the machine, basically.
Oh, I thought to get out of that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was in it for a lot of years, but I've been out now, I think, longer than I was in.
Yeah,
You've
yeah,
just got to take the leap of it eventually and just cross your
yeah,
fingers and hope you don't have starvation. So
yeah,
if you want to live your dream, yeah, and I did. And it's
yeah,
worked out well. Okay, well, that's good. That's fantastic, that. I'm sure you're going to get a load of people now wanting the readings done. So
yeah,
I think you do that. So that's good, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
And
Or
no,
it's
it's weird, isn't it? I'd like to hear about people like Jimmy Savile or people like that too.
I've looked at
See
his
what drives
charts. I've
them.
looked at
Yeah.
his chart, and it, it's
See,
full on Jimmy Savile's chart. Yeah,
you folded your arms then to, yeah, you can see you didn't like that one. Yeah, yeah. I bet it
yeah.
was,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Well, I did. There's on YouTube somewhere. It's I did Harold
Oh,
Shipman's
the
chart,
Nigerian.
and that's one of my most views. I don't really promote my YouTube channel.
Oh, you should do. Yeah.
I should do, because well, my most viewed one is Harold Shipman,
Oh,
and
he must, sorry to interrupt, he must have been really quite a narcissist, wasn't he? Or as
yeah,
well as not psychotic, psychopathic, because it was all
yeah,
about power for him. What was the
yeah.
biggest?
Well, that's exactly it. You've done it in a nutshell there, but
Sorry.
it's just sorry, it just explains Harold Shipman astrologically, and because people look at the chart and say, what is it about his chart that made that led him on to do those things? And and it's kind of, he's got like quite he was a Capricorn with Cancer moon, and it's like opposites. I can't remember actually without watching it again, but yeah, that's a really good video on astrology. Yeah, I should do. A lot of them have got very striking charts. They could have
Yeah, right.
they could have done a lot of good, but they went the other way.
They took the wrong. Yeah, yeah. People can just tell. I used to think that when I worked in the prisons, how did this person get here? They just came to a fork in the roads. They've done nothing wrong, and suddenly ended up ruining their lives, just taking one decision that took them down
Yeah.
the wrong path.
So
And I think that's maybe what.
Jimmy Savile's got a very interesting chart. That not the recent woman that um hurt all those children, those babies. There's another one.
Oh, yes.
She's got a fascinating chart. I can't remember what she's called now. Jeffrey Dahmer. He's got a very interesting chart as well.
So what was it about Jimmy Savile's chart then that stuck out, if you can remember?
Well, he's got an well. I don't want to cut off a lot of potential Scorpio customers.
No,
But he had a hell of a lot in Scorpio and in the eighth house as well. And it's just I'll have to do a YouTube video on that.
yeah, it'd be
It's just
fascinating.
the thing was that I considered doing it, but I thought, did I really want to be even have Jimmy Savile floating
Mm.
around in my conscious or subconscious mind? Do I really? I mean, I don't even like the look of the guy.
No, no, I know what you
Like,
mean.
he's
Yeah.
like not good to look at all, is he? So, and I didn't want to even look at Jimmy Savile, never mind get into his psychology of all the things that he did. But maybe if
Okay.
people are interested in that, then I could do it.
Yeah, it is these people that do outrageous things or live lives like that. You can't believe it. But because I think big ones of that, the girl who was the nurse, I can't remember her name, who's killed the baby. I couldn't understand. It didn't seem to me like she was guilty. I couldn't. I listened to some of the. We're going right off the subject here. Sorry, we'll get
All right.
we'll make it get back up.
That's
Um,
astrology. It just gets deep.
yeah, off you go. I'm thinking,
That is
yeah.
the subject.
Beverly Allen, was that what she called?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and I couldn't. I listened to the transcripts of the trial, and somebody put it out on YouTube, and I find out how they found her guilty. Really,
Yeah, they're extremely good at well, it's not even like the lying, is it? It's just like they're telling their truth, and
Mm.
you just can't. I mean, how are people supposed to have any defenses against people like that? Because you just can't see
Nothing is there.
past it. Yeah, and plus as well, I spent quite a few years as a psychiatric nurse in Ashworth, which is maximum security.
Ah, that's I
As a
did as well.
psychiatric nurse, and you did as
I went
well,
as
didn't
well.
you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so at the start of it, I might have thought the same of like, why did they do it? And then at the end, I kind of got it, and then I didn't really want to know anymore after that because I
Yeah.
understood. And then once I understood, there was
There's
nowhere
this
left to
big
go with
thing
it.
about people not looking at the dark side and not understanding it, and so not overcoming it, and they get engulfed by the dark side, I think, instead of, there's one thing we do, we pretend it doesn't exist. We've all got a dark side, but people don't then spend time looking at it, so then you can't build a defense against it. Do you know, that's what I'm trying to say? That some people, when it arrives, they take that wrong decision, they transfer the whole being over to the dark side.
That moral compass that says really no.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they
yeah, they
cross
do.
over,
Mm,
go through Darth, as they call it.
yeah.
So yes, anyway, back to that the latest reading. Who was the latest person that you've done?
Oh well, the latest person that I did was somebody that saw one of my charts somewhere and just commissioned one. So that was the latest one
Oh,
that I did. I don't know whether I can screen share and just show you.
there it is.
Oh,
Yep,
is it
that's come
there?
up. Yep, yep.
Okay, I just so this is her chart. I'm sure she won't mind. So this is framed, laser engraved, and as many Swarovski crystals as as it was decent to put on
Oh,
it.
so you built this. This is a
Yeah,
physical.
this is
Right.
this is what I do.
Wow.
It's got, I don't know if you can see it, the galactic centers in there. I don't know if it's big enough for you to see.
Wow, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and what she really loved about it was Freya, the goddess Freya, is conjunct with her moon as like an asteroid somewhere out in space. It lined up with her own moon, and she was absolutely delighted. She's, had a struggle in this life, and it's there in the
Right.
chart to see. And it was like just explained, and she had Freya with her, conjunct her with the energy of Freya. The fighting spirit, and
Yeah,
she
yeah.
is oh, that's amazing because she was going to get a tattoo of Freya, because people get tattoos for many reasons, I think. And so she wanted, but she never did it. And then she saw that was like a key thing in her chart, Freya, which is the Norse goddess, like a warrior goddess.
Yeah, well, that was wonderful. That so yeah. So you make that out of a black plate and
Yeah,
etch onto it.
yeah. I've self-taught with all of it, and I draw it out on Illustrator. I have a good look at the chart, and get the asteroids which are relevant. It's got. I also like the royal stars of Persia because it's a cultural dive basically into one's own energy, and I like to include the royal stars of Persia,
Right.
which Aldebaran, Fomalhaut, Regulus, and I forgot
Amazing.
because I'm on the spot.
Okay. So right, moving on. Um, the conference. So yeah, the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch. Obviously, you can't tell. Now you've studied this, which is amazing because it is a difficult read. The Book of Enoch and the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I've had a look through the Book of Enoch many years ago, and it is mad. It's insane, isn't it? It's the things in there. You think, wow. I mean, to think that it nearly got into the Bible, because it's fantastic, isn't it? It's without sort of going too deeply, was it? Because you're going to do it at the conference, but the whole feeling about the actual work, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's well, so yeah, I mean it's just keeps going. I mean it's just brilliant, and the way that it's written as well is that there's just, it's not sentimental, it's not trying to persuade you, it just delivers it as like a factual account.
Mm.
And um you know, I don't know whether this is saying too much or not, but well, I don't know. I mean, it's very clear to me its origins, and they found 25 copies of it in the Qumran caves.
Were
And
they the same, the copies, or were they just done by different people, same sort of accounts?
um, I I think they were done by different people because they were copies.
Hmm.
But it shows the importance that they held of the Book of Enoch to store away so many copies.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the one that has been translated, which I followed, is not from the Qumran caves. It's an earlier existing one.
Oh,
The Book of Enoch is one of the oldest um,
really?
apocryphal texts. Yeah, and it was well, I'll just say, because it's not very much compared to the rest of the stuff, that this Scottish guy called Bruce, Robert Bruce, had the means to be able to travel and explore, back in the 1700s, and he wanted to find the source of the Nile, so he was able to go on this, amazing adventure. And so, to find the source of the Nile, he went to Ethiopia. And so he was in Ethiopia, and when he came back from there, he brought back the three copies of the Book of Enoch from Ethiopia. One he kept for himself. One he put in the Bodleian Library, which is for the University of Oxford, and another one he gave to France. So I don't know why he did that, but he did.
Right.
So it got translated um, by several translators, and so I'm reading both books by both translators and picking out
Wow.
word differences between the two.
Gee, that
Because when
is
it
hard
comes
work. Yeah, yeah.
because when it comes to words, descriptive words, it matters. So if
It
you
makes a big difference.
change one word for another, so I'm looking at it word for word across the two
Mm.
translations to get the truth, basically.
Well, I'm really looking forward to this because it's like you say, you change one word, it can change the whole meaning of the whole paragraph, can't it? And
Mm.
yeah, the Dead Sea Scrolls. So, um, is Solomon mentioned, King Solomon, in all this?
Um, not that I've come to, because not that that there's no mention
Too
of that
late, is it? I suppose.
early.
Well, Dead Sea Scrolls, have they got a date on it where they think it was actually written?
But they when the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered, that was in
60,
1946.
1940. So,
So
but
this
what
was
do you know?
written about before Christ, about, they think, about between 300 and 500 years BC.
They see. All right. So, you talking about that time, or is it reflecting back to a previous time?
It reflects back, but it's an account of the day. So that was when
Yes.
it was written. So yes, it might have been. Would you say a retrospective? Mm.
Right. Okay. 'Cause I was wondering what sort of date it was talking about. So, if it was saying that all these things happened about 500
About
BC.
or between 500 and 300 BC.
Wow. So that's reasonably. I mean, Solomon was 1,000 BC, so
Right.
that is before it. Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And they were. I mean, it's all the angels and the watchers and giants and all this lot, isn't it? It's like fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
The
Well, look, I'm
Nephilim.
really looking forward to the Nephilim. Yeah, and are they the Nephilim? Are they the angels or are
They're
they
the
the
children of the angels.
children of the angels? Right. Okay. Well, it's going to be fascinating. We better not. I'm not going to try and drag any more out of you because, but it really, I think the whole Book of Enoch thing to me always fascinated me. So, and it just takes too long to read it all and go through it all. So, for you doing that for us, that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's but it's, I mean, some of the things that are put in. I mean, if you like things like Ancient Aliens, and you like all of that. That program wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the Book of Enoch. They're always quoting it. So, and the Watchers, but it's just interesting to find out what was actually written.
Good to actually make some. Well, you hear the Watchers, and it's quite a spooky thing, isn't it? It's spooky, literally, like spies or some watching us. I'd like to find out. Don't tell us now, but I'm interested to find out who you think they actually are. If do you think they still exist? You're not
Um,
tell us who they are. Just yes or no.
the 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 spirit of the giants is what would
Right.
exist
Yeah.
because they had, the child they had children, and
They were the
and,
Watchers.
and it
Okay.
and it's those that will still exist.
Yeah.
There is an interesting piece of writing, which I'll put in just about that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Book of Giants, is that a separate book, or is it part of the Book of Enoch?
Well, it's argued amongst the people that did the translations of the Book of Giants, especially the one that did it latterly, because the first guy that translated it just translated it. I don't think he put forth too much of an opinion on what he thought it was from. He just did the translations because he was around where the translations were.
Right. Okay.
But
Right.
it's the second one that did it, and there's not that much of it, but what there is of it is quite insightful. And that there was probably more, but you see, the thing is from the there was copies of the Book of Giants in the Qumran caves. There's more than one
Right.
copy. It's like the Book of Enoch was never discovered. It's always been around. It's just like, come to light
Because they
more.
tried to hide. I think that was a. They tried to hide a lot of things, didn't they? Sort of the Orthodox Church, and then everything was buried and got rid of. And all of a sudden, they found a lot more. It's like, they couldn't really keep it down. I think that's pretty much what happened, wasn't it? Really, they tried to hide it, and it's up again.
Yeah, well, I don't know where. Well, I can have a guess about where the
Mm,
copies were because of where it
mm.
was found and which museums took ownership of it, because it's in that part of the world, Israel, or you know.
Or even underneath the Vatican Library and all that, they claimed a lot of
Well,
text.
but it's like in Israel, so I think it's more of a Jewish thing.
Right. Okay. Right. We'll leave it at that because we're could ask you a million questions about it, but I know not because we've got a conference to do, and
Well,
you're going to do a fantastic talk about it there. So we'll leave it at that. And what have you got coming up soon? Any events before or conference or after it or?
yeah, I've got absolutely loads. I've had to write them down, and then I kind of don't forget any. So yeah, I've got a talk coming up, which is for a women's business networking group, and that's about astrology and business and astrology, and how I've used astrology to be able to understand myself, understand my business, because I've got a business chart as well, and so I understand how my business runs and how it works, and it's helped me a lot to be able to shape it. Yeah, so that's one. I'm absolutely delighted that I'm in Clitheroe Contemporary Arts Festival,
Oh,
and I did a painting. It's actually of a mermaid, or an undine, really, but a mermaid, and so that's. Is it next weekend? It's not this weekend. It's next weekend, where Clitheroe is just taken over by the arts, and you can
right.
go
Oh, wow.
around from one gallery or exhibition space to the next to the next. There's about four like big ones, and my painting got in, so
Oh,
I'm
brilliant.
very
And that's the
pleased about
15th
that.
then, around the 15th of this
Yeah,
month of June.
I think it starts on the Friday, so that's the 14th to the
14th, yeah.
23rd. We have a Bolton Astrological Community have an exhibition next year as well. We've already got our speaker organised. It's Steve Judd, who is well known in the circles of astrology.
Mm.
He's got like, you know, big presence. So that's really, and he's going to be doing a talk on Pluto. So that's going to be very interesting. And also as well, I will be moving my stuff into a shop in Clitheroe. These are only like small clocks, and that they're not on a theme because they're for the general public, and they don't want to see anything that's like angel related. I've got my angel clocks, but oh yeah, and there's the Festival of Making, which is quite a big deal in Blackburn, and I'll be in that as well, and it's in the cathedral, so I'll be bringing astrology into the cathedral.
Well, that is all on your website, is it? All that information?
Probably not.
Well, it's easy to put it on there. It's so what is it? It's just monksastrology.com or
Yeah, Monk's Astrology. There's only one Monk's Astrology in the world.
brilliant. And of course, the big event of the year is the Mysterious Earth Conference.
Absolutely.
And it's building up, folks. It's building up. More and more people are booking. So hopefully we're bigger this year than last year. And last year was bigger than the one before. And it seems to go down it's getting bigger every year. 16th year of the conference. And it's on the 7th and 8th of September in the YMCA in beautiful St. John's-on-Sea. So we'll see you all there.